All right, so in the last video we were talking about event-driven programs and how you can set up a timer object so that it will call a particular function every however many millionths of or thousandths of a second you want to make it happen. Okay, and we compared that to the on tick in a turtle, and notice this on tick belongs to this specific turtle, right? But so there's a turtle that's kind of an object, that's a thing, right, that has an on tick associated with it. In Python, we actually create a timer object, so this is a new object in itself, and we have to do just like you ask a turtle, if you want a particular turtle to do something, then you have to ask that turtle, right? Or if you want something to happen, you can ask for a particular color to respond in a certain way. Like you can ask white to respond in a certain way. In Python, what you can do is you can create a timer object. So it's a thing by itself, just like a turtle is a thing, or just like a button is a thing, or a text box is a thing. A timer is an actual object that you can ask to do things. So you can ask it to start, you can ask it to stop, you can ask it to tell you if it's running, different things like that. And you know what a timer can do by looking it up in the documents. Okay, so this is telling you timer.start, timer.stop, timer.isRunning. So these are the things that, and to create a timer, we have this call to the simple GUI module that says simplegui.createTimer. Okay, but we were talking about what happens when two of these events happen at the same time. What if you click your mouse at exactly the same time when, you know, the second number 10 has happened and your timer is saying to print tick, but your click handler is telling you to do something else? You know, how does that work? Well, what we the way that works in the background, and this happens in the background in microworlds or in you know, Code Sculptor, or in, you know, a zillion other programming languages. In Java, they have these what they call event queues. Okay, so a queue is a line, like, you know, a bunch of people waiting in line. A bunch of events can be stored in line. So as soon as the event happens, it gets thrown into a queue, into a line like this. And so an event queue, basically, there's some event producing object, like the mouse. You know, you click the mouse, or you press on the keyboard, or you know, the timer fires because it's you know, time for the to call the tick function or whatever function you set up. It goes into this event queue. It gets set up. And you think of it, then there's the event dispatcher. So the way to think about it is, you know those lines, like you go sometimes to the bank and everybody's in the same line, and then there's a bunch of different bank tellers, and you can go to whichever bank teller is free, or at the post office. You see that sometimes like that. So the event dispatcher's job then to send off whatever event this is to the proper handling object, to the proper object to handle it. Okay, so you might have a bunch of people in line, but then they'll say, oh, okay, if you just want stamps, then come over here, or, you know, if you have a particular kind of problem, then come here. So that's kind of like the event dispatcher. The event dispatcher says, oh, this is a this event has this particular handler. So like when we had a for this timer, the event that gets fired by this timer is going to go to the tick handler, right? Because that was set up from the beginning. Or this guy's going to go to the beep handler. All right, so all these events get dispatched to the right handler. Yeah, so that's the basics of event-driven programs. And like I said, there are a bunch of other ones, and we'll look at the other ones that there are in Code Sculptor in a little bit. But you can find something comparable to just about anything that there is in microworlds. You can find or write one equivalent in Python. And we saw the main difference. One of the differences is that you actually have a little more control in Python because you're creating a timer object, or let's see, what are like a button handler. You know, so you create like a button handler, or a text box handler, key down or key up handler. So that's one thing that's nice about Code Sculptors. You have key down and key up handlers, and with the mouse you have click and drag handlers. So you don't have that. So you get more flexibility really that way than you have in microworlds. Oh yeah, and then we saw if you have something running in microworlds and you want to stop it, you hit the stop all button. And if you have something running in Code Sculptor and you want to stop it, you hit this reset key right here.